Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Juricich, and welcome to Hooked on the Niners.
And I'm Terrell Jones, and we'll talk about how the Niners sent the Packers packing home for the rest of the year.
Here's a red light. And I'm Jerry Walker, and oh no, I forgot my play sleeve.
Oh, did you?
What time?
Yeah.
Well, and we're going to talk about the playoffs, and we're going to talk about the frozen tundra, and we're going to talk about Sweet Carolina.
You know, that is funny now, but when it happened, it wasn't funny. We've also got Dan Brown showed up this week.
Did you bring a book?
Did you bring the book for us to plug?
This is playoffs. We got to keep the focus on.
Whoa! I love it. I love it. We'll have some stuff that's going to go into the museum, and we will talk about the playoffs when we come back right here on Hooked on the Niners.
Hooked on the Niners is supported by the Canyon Inn, 650-369-1646, and on the web at www.canyoninn.com. Bach Construction, 650-344-4844, or on the web at www.bachconstruction.com. Lawson's Wildlife Adventures, 650-504-3400. On the web at www.lawsonwildlifeadventures.com. Tisa's Pepper Jelly, 650-787-2357. And on the web at tisaspepperjelly.com.
Hi, I'm Katie Roletto, and I'm a local professional media producer. Thanks to Penn TV's volunteer program, I was able to expand upon my experience and gain some amazing training in the areas of television production right here in the Bay Area. The staff at Penn TV is very skilled and experienced in all aspects of technical production and really helped me learn and grow. If you're interested in finding out more about Penn TV's volunteer program, please visit them at www.penntv.tv and click on the volunteer tab. Thanks, Penn TV.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. I could nitpick. We talked about it at the top.
But why?
I know. But forgetting your sleeve, timeout, first play of this. Have you ever seen that before? You've covered the 49ers.
Seen that one. I thought it was bizarre in the first place. You see him call a timeout after for the first play from scrimmage.
What?
I think, what the heck? And it wasn't until later that I saw the explanation that it was Kaepernick didn't have the sleeve on. Seems like important equipment.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to get too warm in that weather, and just maybe.
Sometimes I go to work. I don't have a computer or anything there. Sit at the wrong desk.
Yeah.
It is nitpicking, by the way. That's what you're going to open with.
All right. I shouldn't have opened with that.
How about this? How about the last 5 minutes and 9 seconds or whatever?
All right, we'll get to that.
That might be the best football I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely, but just give me this much: the first drive, when we got down to the red zone, did anybody conjure up thoughts of the Super Bowl? The last drive of the Super Bowl. Come on, give me that.
I think Frank Gore probably did.
Yeah, he probably. Yeah. What is it? Why do we get down in the red zone?
Well, no. Now you make it sound like we always get in the red zone and don't put it in.
But we don't run a lot down there, Jerry.
Well, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason that the coaching staff knows that we don't know. But if had we been successful, you wouldn't be talking about like that. You'd say, you wouldn't have brought up, we don't run a lot down there. So it's always like hindsight is like, why didn't we run the ball?
Yeah.
We ran the ball later and did okay. And we passed the ball later and did okay and scored.
All right, you're going to pin me in a corner.
But to me, it's always a little concern when, you got a great drive like that, and then you end up kicking a field goal. And then same thing with the second drive. Same thing.
Yeah.
You're kicking a field goal, So why not try something different?
Yeah.
Try to throw them off balance a little bit.
3 points is better than none.
But
it is frustrating when you play so well and you're leading 6-0, then all of a sudden one big play and you're 1 point behind.
Exactly.
Watch this, I'll get right back at him. 7's better than 3. How was that?
That's pretty good math.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think they have the tendency to try to get too cute, right? When they get down there.
Yes.
Their whole team is built around smash mouth football, big offensive line, determined running back. And I think sometimes they think let's have Kaepernick make a sensational play here instead of just pounding the ball in. And I suspect against Carolina, they might try that.
Yeah.
You know, I think Gore gets frustrated when he doesn't get the ball in those situations. I think Gore was really, lingers with him what happened in the Super Bowl. I think he wanted those carries down there. And I think
he did.
When they're near that goal line now, he says, I want to be the guy.
Yeah. Right. All right, enough of the nitpicking. This guy, Colin Kaepernick, who is the roller coaster quarterback, I mean, that upside is just so brilliant. Yeah. So brilliant. Unbelievable that I was kind of looking at the highlights of the game afterwards. When he gets going, his 2 strides is 5 yards.
Oh yeah, or longer.
Right. Yeah, could be. It's just unbelievable the stride he has and the speed he generates with that.
That's why people take bad angles on him too. I think it's like, here he comes jogging towards me, I can get him. Oh, well, he's not jogging, he's by me.
Right.
Well, and I mean, even look when the Packers did blitz, they were going to the inside, and
mistake.
Colin's like, oh, thank you very much. There's an open alley.
Yeah.
So and I think he picked the right moments to take off.
Right.
I mean, he ran for 98 yards. And you would think that the Packers would say, well, you know what? He burned us for over 200 yards the time before.
Sure.
But they just, they didn't prepare for it very well.
He pulled that ball back and then took off. That might have been the play of the game.
Right.
One of the plays of the game.
It was one of the plays of the game. As we speak right now, the team is 13-4 with him, 12-4 regular season. Obviously won yesterday, and this is a passing league, and there's no question that it's a passing league. I mean, we can just name all the guys. His statistics just don't jump out and grab you. 275 yards is, I think, a big passing game for him. I know he got 400 in the first game of the year, but net across the board. He doesn't wow you with that. He just wows you with, as Coach Harbaugh said after the game, when it needs to get done, it gets done.
But look at it this way. I mean, yeah, it's a passing league, but let's look at these other quarterbacks. Cam Newton, Russell Wilson. Yeah. Where are those guys right now?
Yeah.
Same thing. They run when they need to. They throw when they need to. And, I mean, they're just picking the right moments.
Those are 4 pretty good quarterbacks left in the playoffs, huh? In the NFC.
Well, it kind of seems like we have all the right teams in there. There's no question about that. You can't talk about this game without talking about Frank Gore and the blocks that he. I mean, this guy, what a football player. I talked last week that. Anquan, you weren't here, so we'll give you a little recap of last week's show, which actually was our highest rated for some unknown reason. But that Anquan Bolden has jumped onto my all-time 49er team as wide receiver. And I think Frank Gore has now made that team. I don't know who's going to leave.
What do you mean now made it?
Well,
he should have been there. He should have been there a while ago.
Hang on now. You got to have the 3 Hall of Famers, John Henry Johnson, Hugh McElhaney, and Joe Perry, and then you got to have Roger Craig and Tom Rathman. You need a fullback, but he's in there. I haven't decided who I'm cutting, but anyhow, he's just a complete football player.
Well, the thing with Frank Gore is he really prides himself on being that complete football player.
He does.
From the beginning, he's wanted to work on his blocking, to work on his pass catching, to be the do everything running back. He wants to be that complete guy, and he's now the guy who teaches the other backs about blitz pickup because he's so proficient and so efficient and so fundamentally sound at that. He's invaluable.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, too, is he's very deceptive, too, because, he'll be on the right side, and then he'll look and he says, okay, they're coming from the left, and all of a sudden he just darts over there.
Across the formation.
Exactly. So the linebacker or, the safety, whomever is blitzing, it's like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
And he gives Cap that extra time that he needs.
By the way, he gets that from Tom Rathman.
Yes.
Right? The running back coach. Yeah, those 2 guys work together constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Tom has got the greatest saying that he tells running backs that I've heard. Would you rather be the nail or the hammer? and I mean, they all play that way, and that's how Tom
he
was.
Played, exactly.
Absolutely. He right there with the butt of his head, he'd get right into these.
But here's one thing about Tom that a lot of running backs coaches don't do. He gets down there. I mean, he physically gets down there and hits the dummies and shows them exactly how to do it.
Tom does that?
Oh, yeah.
He's an old man now. Tom, stop doing that. You've got a long way to go in your life. He watches this show feverishly, I'm sure. We haven't even talked about the defense, but we'll do that in the next segment. But just to wrap up Frank Gore, as we said about Anquan Bolden and some of the other guys, I don't think they care of anything else but winning.
Right.
And even though I know Frank wants those carries, I don't think it's for glory. I think he wants to win the games, and he thinks that that's the way to do it. So we all agree it was a great win. We got to talk a little bit about the defense. Can we cut into your time in the next segment?
Sure.
Okay, all right. I noticed you got a bottle of beer there
Sure.
in
And
front
that
of us.
beer that was one of our biggest donators.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And
All
they
right.
gave us one bottle.
It's time for show and tell. When we come back with Jerry Walker, we'll talk a little bit more about the game and then the playoffs coming up right here on Hooked on the
Hooked
Niners.
on the Niners is supported by California Catering, San Mateo, 650-345-4881. On the web at CaliforniaCateringSanMateo.com. California Catering, South San Francisco, 650-589-0729. On the web at www.california-catering-company.com. California Catering, Emerald Hills, 650-369-4200. On the web at www.cacateringcompany.com. Bay 101 Casino, 408-451-8888. On the web at bay101.com. Check out the Peninsula TV studio with over 2,000 square feet of space in the auditorium of the Samtrans building in San Carlos. One studio, many looks. From a simple talk show to an onstage production, from musical performances to business webcasts, PowerPoint presentations, Skype interviews. With our state-of-the-art control room, we're one mouse click away from going live from our studio to the internet or to Peninsula TV. For more information, call 650-637-1936 or use the Contact Us form at pentv.tv.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. All right, time for show and tell. As everyone knows by now, Jerry is the archivist for the Niners. I call him the curator for the museum. And we've got some show and tell. Oh, boy, it looks like some programs here that we're going to hold up.
Here, will you
From
hold these
what
up
games?
for me?
Yeah.
Well, this
Oh,
is,
now you have an assistant.
this is
Do
interesting.
you think there's a budget for this
Check out
segment?
this cover.
Los
It's the
Angeles?
49ers at the Rams.
Okay, Friday, September.
We're on this camera here, I guess.
Oh, okay.
How about they're 1 year apart, 1 year and 1 day, but the
Right.
same darn cover?
Well, except for the bold writing at the yeah, the same characters on there.
Pretty cool, huh?
That is pretty cool. And what's the 25 cents for a program?
The 57 is a little thinner than the 58. The 58's got a little more stuff in it, but I thought that was pretty unique that 2 games a year apart. They're both preseason games, by the
Yeah.
way. Same cover. So I don't know if they saved some money or.
I just got back from the Rose Bowl. I think they dinged me 20 for the program.
And then what we got here is, it's the same game, but different covers.
What?
Is it not?
No, this is November.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean the same game as these. I mean these two are from the same game, but they're 2 different covers.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
I don't know, but I think it's
Oh, so you just collect the stuff, you don't find out about it.
well, I collect it first and I find out about it later. I think that's pretty unique.
That is
I think.
pretty neat.
Well, the other thing on this cover, it's a Niners-Rams game, but those aren't Niners or Rams.
No, you know what?
On the
That's
cover.
a stock national cover.
Okay.
All the NFL games and many college games may have had that same cover back in the day at that time, but it's the same game, different covers. So what happened? I can tell you what happened was they had not enough of these. They did their press run. They needed more, so they cut into the next week's cover to finish out the press run.
Oh, no kidding.
Say they print 5,000, they had maybe 4,000, I don't know,
Right.
500 left, and they said we need to go to the other cover, or they used up what was left from the week before.
Yeah. Now, isn't there one company that makes the programs for the whole NFL now?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
They make a skeleton program, then you add to it.
Okay.
So like the 49ers add their own pages in there,
Right.
and then there's some stock stuff that they get.
I've told this story a million times, and I'll just interrupt you for a second. My old pal Gary Niver, I don't know if you got to know Gary when he was on the beat, loved cooking, so he did a story for the program, recipes from players. And Mike Reed was an old defensive tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals back in the day, and he made this great chili that you started with 6 pounds of pork, 4 pounds of ground beef, and 10 pounds of onions, and all this recipe, and stir and cook for this long, and at the bottom it said feeds 2. It was just incredible.
And he cut into my show and tell for that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So that's for the older people, the veteran fans to check
Okay.
that out from the 50s.
Now, we've got some young folks here watching us today. Do you have anything for the young folks?
They might. The young folks. The young folks watching us probably weren't around when this
Yeah.
was being worn.
Flash 80.
But
Is that one of JR's towels?
Yeah, JR used to tuck it in his belt.
Yeah. Flash 80, boy, oh boy. I thought that was going to start a trend, but I don't think anybody else ever did that, did they?
Well, the league said you couldn't send messages, and that's a message.
That his nickname is Flash and his number is 80.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can only wear the logos approved by the league and that sort of thing. It's a uniform code.
Right.
This detracts because then other people start,
Yeah.
hi Mitch.
Yeah.
Jim McMahon.
I'm sure he wasn't trying to get in touch with the Taliban or somebody.
No, that's not that reason.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
Jerry, is that written in, or somebody stitched that in for him?
No, that's
That's magic marker.
yeah.
Magic marker.
Not magic marker. What am I? The Sharpie.
Sharpie, that's a
magic
red Sharpie.
marker. Yeah.
Jared did that himself, I'm sure.
Now I'm sure in the museum you're going to have a whole thing for Jerry Rice. I mean.
What a great idea.
Oh,
Seriously. What a great idea.
Yeah.
He should be the curator.
Yeah. I'm just an idea guy.
Right, exactly.
I sit in the
Great
meetings, come up
ideas,
with all the ideas, but I'm not doing a darn thing. I'll tell you that.
Great ideas.
Yeah. Well, that's good stuff. All right, let's get back to the Niners just a little bit. We didn't talk about defense.
Wait, before we talk about defense and wrestling,
Yes.
Michael James.
Oh.
Did he step up?
Big kick return there late in the game. But as I was telling you when we met down in the lobby before we came up, Eric Reed might have made the tackle of the game.
Yes.
Getting Cobb on the sideline there at the 10-yard line. I mean, if that goes in for a touchdown, we only have one timeout left because some guy forgot his equipment before he went on the field.
you mentioned
Have you ever seen that before?
Still haven't.
You still haven't.
Not
Okay.
that whether I haven't seen it before.
Yeah. But great defensive play. A little concerned about the pass defense. Should I be?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Well,
I mean, because two things: playing in Lambeau, playing against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers may be the best quarterback to throw on the run.
I think he is.
I mean, that pass that he threw to Jordy Nelson in the end zone.
Unbelievable.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Right. And that was the lowest passing yard total he's had in a playoff game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the pass defense was only so bad. Their pass rush is so good. It covers, I think, for some weaknesses in the secondary. Remember, they're playing without Carlos Rogers yesterday, who had the hamstring issue.
Right.
Parrish Cox did okay, I thought.
Yeah, he did fine. Yeah.
Well, and Tremaine Brock, truth be known, on the one to Jordy Nelson, I mean that was a millimeter from being knocked down.
Yeah.
I mean that was pretty darn close.
Also, in that last drive, we had a millimeter from one being intercepted, too.
Yeah.
Man.
Against us, I mean.
Yeah.
He sends me an email, says never a doubt.
It was, never a doubt.
No, never a doubt. No.
But here's the thing that I look at. You can look at all the yards you want to.
Yeah.
Let's look at the scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense did a good job.
Yep.
Exactly.
Bend but don't break, stretch but don't snap or whatever it is.
The linebackers had another great, they had another great game.
Yeah.
I think we sacked Rodgers 4 times.
Yeah. Now here's our strength and conditioning guy. Interesting thing they said on the broadcast about Alden Smith was cramping up, and that even in the cold you have to continue to take your liquids.
Sure,
Right.
that cold weather can be dry weather.
Oh yeah.
But
exactly.
wouldn't the water freeze in those bottles?
No, they keep them warm.
Yeah, they
do they?
got heaters on
Okay.
the side.
You don't ask for ice water. You just ask for a little.
Seriously, is the water hot when they bring it out?
No, not hot, but
Okay.
But
and they probably keep it by the heaters.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
should have been able to figure that out, huh?
Yeah.
But when you take that, I mean, how long does it take to freeze?
that entire game, I never thought of that.
Really?
I never
See, I
did.
think of the minutia.
It depends upon the temperature.
Okay. Well,
But-
it's
So let's say 5
21
below.
degrees below zero.
But so that's why you got heaters. You put the water bottles right by the
all
heaters.
Okay. But you
take it
still
up
have
there.
to continue to take.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have to, because I mean you're exerting yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, even when it's cold, you're actually even working even harder because you want to stay warm. And plus,
And the body's working harder.
And just think about it. As you breathe, that cold air is going down your lungs.
Yeah.
Oh, that does not feel good at all.
No, it doesn't.
So.
It doesn't. I was at the Super Bowl in '81 in Detroit. Whew, that was not good. We mentioned that you hadn't seen a guy with, forgot a piece of equipment. How about the number of Packers that they kept hauling off the field?
Oh, yeah.
That was just horrible.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird trend over the weekend, I thought.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of guys go down to
Kansas
Kansas
City.
City.
Kansas City.
Every few minutes, somebody else leaves the field.
That's because you play every down like it's the last
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
yeah.
Playoffs, you just, you got a regular season game and a Monday night game, and then you got playoffs.
And now with this concussion protocol that you have to go through, I mean, if you get hit in the head at all.
Well, they were saying, who was it? The Bakhtari
Yeah.
went back in, and he had a concussion.
Oh, he did
Yeah,
go
he
back.
snuck back on the field for extra point.
Went
Right.
in on his own.
He went in on. How
And
did
then
he
they
do
took
that?
him
I
out
thought they
there.
they take your helmet away.
Well, not always. If it's like a running back or somebody,
Yeah.
or a receiver.
Probably.
But if it's
Probably not if you're
Special
really
teams.
a big guy. Is a little old doctor going to go take your helmet away from you? I don't think that's going to happen. All right, when we come back, we'll go around the league a little bit before we talk about the upcoming game against Carolina right here on Hooked on the Niners. Did you guys see that?
Hooked on the Niners is supported by Parkside Grill, 650-529-9007. On the web at www.parksidegrill.net. Handlery Hotel, 1-800-995-HUSH. The website is www.handlery.com. Poplar Creek Golf Course, 650-522-4653. And on the web at www.poplarcreekgolf.com. Eddie Perez and Company, 650-363-5904. On the web at www.eperezpainting.com. Armstrong Carpet and Linoleum Company, 415-751-2827. On the web at www.armstrongcarpet.com.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. Just having a little discussion. Who's faster, Steve Young or Colin Kaepernick?
Depends on who's chasing them.
Right, exactly. You think Kaepernick's faster?
Cap is faster.
They're both pretty
Especially
athletic.
today, Cap's faster.
Let's go around the league a little bit.
Well,
How about go?
Here's one thing that we didn't talk about.
What's that?
How about the almost blocked field goal at the end?
Oh, my
Did you see it go
goodness.
right through his hands?
Yes.
But what I heard later that made me feel better,
He jumped offside.
he was offside. So if
Yeah.
he had blocked it, they were going to.
But they didn't call it.
Yeah,
was
they
it
did.
was there a
They
flag
did
down?
call it,
Oh,
yeah.
was it? Okay.
They
I
actually
didn't
called
see
it-
the flag
Yeah, I
either,
didn't- I
but
didn't see it
somebody
either.
else said
They
he.
actually called it mistakenly. They called it. They said there's been decline. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
The penalty's been declined.
Okay.
Therefore, touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
And then he
Field-
corrected
that's right,
himself.
he did
Said,
say
"I
that.
mean, field goal."
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Game over.
Yeah.
Because Ed Hockley looked like Bane from The Dark Knight.
That boy was struggling.
And so would you have been.
Yeah.
Actually, though, bad weather or no bad weather, the officials were terrible in my opinion.
Oh,
for
yeah.
both sides.
Yeah.
There's let them play, and then there's come on, let's get serious. We got to call something
Sale's
here.
going to have a field
So-
day if they don't play
So
like that.
did you see the hold? Was it on Alden? That the center from
Ray McDonald.
Ray McDonald.
I
Yeah.
mean, you talking about a blatant
there.
hold. I mean,
Yeah, right, exactly.
come on.
Get him
Ray,
over there.
Ray Charles saw that one.
Yeah.
And they didn't call it.
Plus, I think he choked him.
There was a famous story about the Ice Bowl in 1967 when it was colder than it was yesterday. The officials didn't. They'd yell out their signals because
They
they didn't put the whistle on the mouse because it would
Yeah.
freeze. And I thought maybe that was happening yesterday. They didn't want to touch the flag and have it freeze to there.
I thought that analogy about Ray Charles could have even seen that. I mean, it's one thing to pick on a guy that's visually impaired, but a guy that's taking a dirt nap. I mean, that's the double whammy.
Well, that's how bad the call was. The missed call was. So.
All right, I started out with the Indy game against Kansas City.
Oh, man.
What a game.
First and foremost, great to see Alex Smith do so well. I love that
Great
guy.
game.
That was a great game.
game.
That just
But
made it all the more heartbreaking for him because he did his part.
he did.
Yeah.
The
He
defense-
did.
44 points, that doing your part?
44.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on him.
And you talk about one of the top defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And they give that many points and let them come back like that.
Right, exactly.
And they only had one really good wide receiver.
Yeah.
And T.Y. Hilton was burning them like.
That's
you
the
know,
one
like-
guy you have to stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one guy you have to stop is T.Y. Andrew Luck, though. I mean, the short-sightedness to just forget what happened.
Right.
Full speed ahead.
Right.
We
Right.
took a torpedo, but the guns are still
And he
still
threw,
working.
he
So
threw
let's
what?
go.
2 interceptions? 3 interceptions?
Three
Three, yeah.
interceptions. 3 interceptions.
Yeah, it comes out the first half, boom,
I
interception.
think I went like that and said 3. Did I?
Yeah, well.
We
Okay.
understood.
Yeah. All right. Okay. San Diego, Cincinnati. Cincinnati. I wouldn't want to be Andy Dalton
That's
for the next month.
so frustrating.
I wouldn't want to
It-
be Marvin Lewis
Yeah. Why? Why does he keep his job?
because the Browns or the Bengals are cheap.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Marvin Lewis is a good guy. I like Marvin Lewis
No
a
question.
lot, but I mean, he should, any other team probably would have fired him 2 or 3 times by now.
Right.
It's one of those things. I think that in general, the quarterback probably gets too much blame, too much credit for when things
Right.
happen. But not yesterday, not
Right.
in that game. I think they.
Well, so let's look at 2 plays. Giovanni Bernard
Yeah.
was on the 10-yard line.
Right.
AJ Green drops the ball on the 5.
Yeah.
And he's their top guy.
Yeah.
Come on, you got to make plays. So
Well, you should know this. What's the definition of insanity? Well, I didn't
doing
mean it that way. It's doing the same thing over, expecting a different result.
Right, like
and
the
that's
show.
kind of what they're doing in Cincinnati now.
Like coming on the show. Yeah, and what do they do? Do they switch out Andy Dalton? I mean, they've got a lot invested in that guy. He's a first-round pick. He's generally a pretty good regular season quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Next year will be the last year of his contract. So what do you do?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Do you draft somebody?
If we're on the board of directors of Cincinnati, we're having that discussion right now, in my humble opinion.
Right. No, you're right.
Is this the guy that can get us to the promised land?
Exactly.
All right, let's switch gears quickly. Carolina coming up. Great front seven. Absolutely fabulous front seven. Great defensive ends. Probably going to try to keep Kaepernick in the pocket. Humble opinion, they got to throw on that secondary.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I think it's the best defense we've faced all year.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've gotten better since we've played them.
Right.
And their offense has gotten better since we've played them.
Right.
It won't be a 10-9 game, but I think it'll be a defensive battle. And it's going to be tough to run against them. We got to throw.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I agree.
if I'm wrong about this, correct me, but we had Vernon Davis got...
He got hurt in that game and missed most of it. And we had no Crabtree.
And no Crabtree.
Yeah. What is going on there?
Oh, well, there's... Well, what do you know? We don't have the guys
That's
yelling
a lot
at
better than
us.
screaming.
I kind of like this better.
Exactly, yeah.
No offense, guys, but I kind of like that better.
No
So we have
offense.
2 minutes left.
Yes.
And we had no Crabtree, and I think that was Aldon Smith's first game back, and he
think
didn't
you're right.
play a lot. So there's those things kind of in the 49ers' favor, I would
Well,
think.
that team, the 49er team is a little bit different with Crab and with a healthy Vernon
Yeah.
than it was that day.
And how about this? If it was minus 20 in Green Bay, there is going to be almost an 85-degree difference in the game last Sunday to this Sunday.
Well, I think that might be one of the toughest hurdles for the Niners to overcome, because this is where you see the home field advantage really kick into gear.
Right.
The Niners have to go get beat up, get frozen, play the Packers while Carolina's resting up and getting healed, and it's another cross-country trip for San Francisco.
Right.
That's a big obstacle.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Just as they promoted it all week within the locker room and after the game it came out, it's a state of mind.
It is.
It's a state of mind.
Tough guys.
Tough guys.
Got to be a tough guy. I'm going to go out on a limb here
Go ahead.
and just say, with the nice temperatures there, he's got a credential to cover that
Yes,
game.
he does.
I'm just betting money you got it in your pocket.
My contract is 60 degrees or over.
I like that contract.
You know, you're not as dumb as I thought you were. that's
But
pretty
you know,
good.
the thing about Carolina too is I think they disguise the blitz better than anybody else
Yeah,
in the
they
league.
do. They do.
So-
And they don't need it all the time.
You're right.
We got 30 seconds left. Give me a score.
21-14.
Okay, 49ers.
49ers.
Yeah? Yeah, come on. Come on, look at his shirt. Yeah,
17-14.
17-14?
17-10 Niners.
17-10 Niners. I'm going to go 35-17 Niners.
Wow.
I think we're going to jump up and we can smell it. The hay's in the barn, and they're heading for that. Does that make sense? Hay's in the barn?
I just like the idea that they're playing at Carolina,
Right.
not in Seattle.
Not in Seattle, right.
Check last week's show.
Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. All right. That's it. Hopefully we'll have another show to do after the Carolina game, and we'll know if they're going to play another one in San Francisco or up in Seattle next week, right here on Hooked on the Nine. Not bad. Not bad. You were